Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the first ever episode of In English, Please. And I hope that you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun recording this episode, and we're going to have a lot of fun recording all of the other episodes too. All right. And well, I hope that you enjoy it and you get to practice a little bit your English. Now, before we get started, let me tell you that there were a couple of problems with the audio, and we're going to try to do better the next time, but we don't have like fantastic equipment, so it's going to be a work in progress. And before we get started, I wanted to tell you a couple of words or expressions that we use that maybe you can find a little bit difficult, all right? Or that maybe you just forgot these expressions. So you can skip this part and start right at the recording, but otherwise, listen to all of these expressions, right? One of the expressions that we use is burned into, specifically burned into my mind. To have something burned into your mind, it means that it's there and it's never going to leave your mind. Okay, just like the song "We Don't Talk About Bruno," no, no. Okay, that is going to be burned into your mind forever. All right. So that is a really nice expression. Another expression that we use is to call it quits. Okay, to call it quits is to stop something. All right. Specifically, we use it in a relationship. It's the same as to break up. When you call it quits, you say, no more, my friend. That's it. We call it quits. Another expression that I use is I cannot help myself. Okay. And when you cannot help yourself, is that you cannot stop yourself from doing something, specifically doing something that you think that it's a little bit bad. Okay. So you cannot help yourself. Next is, okay, to pack the same punch. When something doesn't pack the same punch, it means that it doesn't have the same power. On the other hand, when something packs the same punch, it means that it has the same power as another thing. And another expression, the last expression that we use is to cash in on something. All right. Usually, when people cash in on something, that means that they are going to make money. They are going to make a lot of money out of that. Okay. Cash in. Anyways, these are only a couple of the expressions that we use during the podcast. I hope that they help you and I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you so much and let's get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to In English, Please, the program where we talk about random things so you can practice your English. My name is Teacher Juan.
And my name is Teacher Gilly. And with Teacher Juan, we're going to enjoy this awesome podcast.
All right. So, before we start, I have a couple of questions for you. Do you like thinking about old movies, games, series, books? What is something that brings you back to a different time? Do you like all of the revivals, remakes, or reimaginings that we've seen lately? And do you think that nostalgia is the enemy of new creations? As you can imagine, today we're going to be talking about nostalgia, the feeling that you get when you watch an old movie or play a beloved video game. The feeling that you get when you read a book that you used to love or hear someone talking about a remake of your favorite cartoon. And lately, I've been playing a lot of video games that I played when I was young. Last year, for example, I played Diablo 2 quite a bit, a game from 2002 that I used to play on my crappy computer. I remember quite clearly the amazing gameplay and the awesome graphics. Like in my mind, I can see the amazing graphics. But when I played it this time around, I used an option to see the old graphics, and my goodness, it looks so freaking awful. It made me laugh. It was so silly. Like everything looks so cramped. And at the end of the year, I also played some Halo Infinite, which is basically a reimagining of Halo Combat Evolved.
Well, for me, it's all about Nintendo Family games. I remember your family console with hundreds of games. I spent so many hours playing Super Mario Bros. And specifically a game I love of a penguin that skates on the ice. I think the name was Antarctic Adventure. I love the music and the easy and calm atmosphere. Another one was Circus Charlie, all those fire rings and lions. And I could name some more like Battle City or how I love those yellow and green war tanks, man. Ice Climber, Dog Hunt with the gray plastic guns, the classic Tetris and pinball, the races in Excite Bike and Road Fighter, Bomberman, of so many beautiful memories. Although, if those games were redone in a new format, maybe I wouldn't be so happy to see them. I think I prefer the classical versions. But that's something that I don't feel about movies or series, for instance.
Oh my god, yes. You've just unlocked a memory. I clearly remember the hours and hours playing in front of the TV all of those games. And especially the sounds, all of the sounds, they have been burned into my memory. I can remember clearly the music of Circus Child, I think it was the name, like that
Yeah,
is awesome. That's definitely what we call nostalgia. But not only that, so many movies have come out about things that I used to enjoy when I was a teenager or a kid. Like just recently, Spider Man No Way Home showed us the power of having two Spider Man that we used to love. By the way, I am 100% Team Andrew Garfield. He's my favorite one. He's the best.
talking about Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire was the Spidey of my adolescence. But as you said, my heart is with Andrew too. I think Tobey was the best Peter Parker. He had that innocence and rebellious attitude that Spider-Man has to have, you know? Very similar to the comic books. He was also very similar, I think, to the 90s Spider-Man animated series. But Andrew Garfield has more of the physical superhero, including, for example, the eye shape of the costume.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. And I love the chemistry between Andrew and Emma. In the movies, they had a fantastic relationship. There was so much chemistry there. And I was so sad when they decided to call it quits. My heart died a little bit that day. I also think that he was by far the best Spider-Man. His quips, his one-liners as Spider-Man, they made me laugh so much. And it's a bit funny. When we're thinking about nostalgia, how old do you think you have to be to feel nostalgia? Like just a couple of days ago, one student told me about a place called the Vault that is coming back to Fortnite, which is a video game. And he told me that he was very happy because he's going to have the opportunity to play one more time and enjoy the same things that he enjoyed 2 or 3 years ago. Mind you, this student is like 13 years old. He's not very old. So this surprised me because these are the exact same feelings that I have when I think about all of the things that I used to love and that I used to enjoy. Anyways, just like everyone else, every time that I see an announcement of a remake or a rehash or a sequel, maybe, of something that I love, I get excited. I cannot help it, but I feel excited. I get this feeling of amazement, and I want to see my favorite characters. I want to relive the things that I used to do in the past. And I think that this is why we are so addicted to nostalgia. When you see that a remake is coming, you return to simpler times. It's a little bit like watching or rewatching your old favorite series, or maybe watching them for the first time.
Well, for me, it depends on the titles the industry wants to remake, you know? I am sometimes not very comfortable with the remakes because I feel it is not necessary in a lot of cases. But sequels or prequels are a different story. In that case, I will be very excited to see what is coming on the horizon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just last week, for example, I saw the first two episodes of How I Met Your Father, and I had to watch them. I couldn't stop myself. How I Met Your Mother was a TV series that I watched quite a bit when I was at university. It's a series that was with me for such a long time during a lot of important and interesting times. I cannot think about this series and not have lots of memories rushing to my head. And it's a TV series that I have watched like 5 or 6 times, maybe even more.
That's a lot.
Yeah, seeing a continuation, even if it's only in name, made me slightly happy, just a little bit. And of course, I watched the
Yeah.
first two episodes and kinda enjoyed it, but I was feeling, I don't know, a little bit underwhelmed. I really wanted to watch it, but it just wasn't the same. I felt nothing. I felt empty. There was no exciting, there was no happiness. Like it was a mediocre show.
Well, what can I tell you? The same happened to me with the remake of He-Man on Netflix. Although I really, really wanted to like it, it didn't have an impact on me. I just feel that an excessive inclusion for political correctness stole the very core of the magic that the show had. I honestly expected more.
Oh god, yes. Oh my god, yes. Don't get me started on political correctness. Inclusion without a thought for the story. But that's a story for another episode. We're not going to be talking about that.
Yeah, yeah. I can think of several remakes I hated. For example, Planet of the Apes. Oh my gosh, what was that? The original had a mysterious atmosphere, something that thrilled you, like the scene where the Statue of Liberty appears under the sand, and at the same time, the main character finds out that the planet he got stuck on was the Earth and not some random alien planet led by apes. It was just awesome, man. And the new ones with the mutant chimp named Caesar, who leads a revolution to free all the monkeys on Earth. Jesus, that was terrible.
Yes. Oh my god. It definitely doesn't pack the same punch as the original. I remember clearly that scene, you know, where you can see the Statue of Liberty in the sand. Is like my freaking god. That's an
Yeah,
amazing scene.
awesome.
Yes, and this is not the same. This is definitely not the same. Say that it's bad, but yeah, it's not that good either. But that movie, at least, the new Planet of the Apes, I don't know the name. it does have a small fan base, you know. There's like a couple of people that say that no, it's good, it's quite good, it's not a bad remake.
Yeah, there is a small fan base. Yeah. Another one that really upsets me is Quarantine, the Yankee remake of the Spanish Wreck. Totally unnecessary. I'm not even going to talk about that. It was basically the same crap, but in English. And the Karate Kid with Jackie Chan and Will Smith's son. Not even Jackie Chan's charisma could save it. I hate when the United States takes a movie from another country and reduce it in English, losing its essence in the process.
Oh my god, yes. And you know, you just mentioned three movies that I've never watched. I mean, I did watch the
Ah,
original Karate Kid, and I've seen a couple of episodes of Cobra Kai. I actually think that Cobra Kai is actually quite interesting. I enjoyed it. And I think that that's because although it's based on a previous movie, it develops its own story. It develops the characters, makes them grow. They are not static, they are moving forward. And you can see that life goes on for these characters and they change and develop. And I like that. Just like real life, you know? But with all of those other remakes, nope, it's just like the same character.
indeed, Cobra Kai was actually an awesome show, and it's because it's a sequel, not a remake. On the other hand, the fact that we are in the fourth season now of the series makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable because it is not that the show is not interesting anymore. It is just that it has gone too long, it's too much. If I were the producer, I wouldn't continue further than, I don't know, the third season. Here comes, as always, the industry sucking our money in exchange for an avalanche of nostalgia. But um, not everything is bad and negative. There are some well done remakes that are worth mentioning. The Ring with Naomi Watts really works, even though it adapts a very characteristic horror story from Japan to an American type of horror. And one that had bad reviews, but personally I loved very, very much was Vanilla Sky with Tom Cruise. The first one, I think, was a Spanish movie called Abre los Ojos. And the remake is obviously very much American, but it works. Curious fact, in both movies, Penelope Cruz plays the same character who is the object of affection of the lead actor.
Really? I didn't know that actually. Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. All right. Other things that cause me nostalgia, but in a good way, are TV programs such as the toys that made us and the movies that made us on Netflix. Those shows help me remember all of the movies that I used to watch as a kid, you know, and the
Yeah.
toys that I used to play with. They bring back so many memories, but in a good way. Not just trying to cash in on those previous projects, but by making you think about the context and the situations that culminated in the creation of that art. And I also enjoy programs that show you how a character has developed over time, you know? Like Dr. Octavius and his amazing phrase, Peter, you all grown up. Or when Steve from Blue's Clues appeared one more time. Those instances make you remember the old days, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you can see that time has moved forward and you're not stuck in time. Actually, I heard that a movie, a Blue's Clues movie with the three Steves is coming. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard
Yeah.
about that.
I think that's very true. I heard the same.
Okay, we will see. We will see what happens. Or you know, like I said with Cobra Kai, they
Yeah.
are the same characters and they are the same actors, but they have moved on and they continued with their lives. So that's pretty cool, I think.
Oh my God, love the toys that made us. Such beautiful facts that I learned. I didn't know, for example, that He-Man was at the start a toy trying to compete with other toys. of its time before it became the cartoon that made the toy a huge success. Nowadays, the Motu toys are still very much desired, especially for a few millennials like me who wanted to have an Adam figurine. Woo. I actually bought mine from a collector.
Oh my God, that's pretty awesome. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
look at his butt.
I actually have a few things that I collect myself, but we can talk about that more in the future. Anyways, I think that's the core of the issue, right? We have so many
Yeah.
shows, movies, books, fads that the company just seem to rehash the same thing over and over and over again. I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get tired of the same things. Like,
Yeah.
you want to watch something new, but at the same time, I think that we are the ones responsible for that. Even though that we're tired, we continue watching and revisiting the same thing over and over and over again. Take, for example,
Yeah.
Marvel, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Every time the industry announces another remakes, oh, my heart cries. It's like the only purpose for them is to make tons of money regardless of the quality and the new ideas. I have this theory about that. We millennials are the ones who have the economic power. We are the number one consumers.
Yeah.
So the industry knows it and squeezes our money, giving us over and over again the same rehashes from our childhood. That leaves a very tiny space for new ideas that could be successful too. And definitely, we as consumers and our shopping habits are the ones responsible.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, they are most definitely cashing in on our nostalgia. I mean, again, Spider-Man, more than $1 billion worldwide. I think that now has surpassed Avatar as
Wow.
yes, that it has surpassed Avatar for what I remember. I think, I don't know. Anyways, but I think that things are starting to change a little bit. I mean, a lot of the new movies and shows coming out that rely only on nostalgia are starting to fail. Take, for instance, shows like Star Trek or movies like The Matrix 4, products that are not exactly bad, but they're focused mostly on the nostalgia factor. They're not being very successful.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I hope things really start to change. But as far as I see it, I'm not sure we are on that path yet. It seems like Hollywood continues with this reign of remakes. Regardless of how highly acclaimed an original film could be from viewers and critics, they lack the quality that keeps remakes in business, guaranteed profit.
Yeah.
In the end, Hollywood is an industry. And like all industries, it runs on profit. But one day, the reign of remakes might come to an end. It's something that can go on forever, because we are getting to the point where everything is a remake.
Yes, I mean, for sure. Just last year, almost everything was a remake,
Yeah.
and it's starting to get a bit too much. A lot of the movies that were remakes, I didn't even watch them, and the nostalgia, it's starting to get tiring, and that's coming from somebody that doesn't really mind getting a few remakes every 3 years. I don't really mind, but it's getting a bit too much. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, the only thing that we can do, just like you mentioned before, is to talk with our OLED. You know, if we want this era of nostalgia to end, we need to stop giving them our money. We need to stop spending money on all of those. Anyways, as always, thank you very much for listening and watching. And I hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Remember to click subscribe if you like the video, or leave us a comment with your favorite remakes or your most hated ones. You know, you can also leave a message with other topics that you might want to see us talk about in the future. For now, thank you so much for
Hello.
coming, and I will see you next time. Bye.